Another Saturday morning, another parkrun, and this time we're at Selby in Yorkshire. Now this is down as the 41st quickest parkrun in the UK, but I think that it should be higher up the list, and I'll go through a few reasons why I don't think it is higher up the list during the course of this run. Now, first thing to note about Selby parkrun, it does not actually take place in the Yorkshire town of Selby. It takes place on an old RAF airfield, RAF Burn, and thus affords a pretty fast course. But it's 2 or 3 miles outside of Selby, so make sure you go to the right place if you want to do Selby parkrun. So Selby parkrun is a pretty minimalist affair. There are absolutely 0 toilets on site, so be warned of that before you go. The course is a straight out and back along an old runway, which is now part of the Trans-Pennine Trail. And in terms of other facilities, well, a coffee van turns up and serves coffee for about an hour either side of each week's parkrun. Car parking is more than plentiful, and we parked probably about 100 yards from the start and finish line, so no issues there. And our only previous visit to Selby parkrun had been back in the inaugural event in 2017, where, as you can see, I ran a time of 19 minutes and 59 seconds to finish in 20th place. Back then it was a slightly different course to the one that is now. I think it is now on smoother tarmac, so hopefully a slightly faster time. It was good to meet up with a few club mates, a chap there in grey, Rob. I've been coaching him for a little while now, and it's good to see he's making improvements, and he was looking to run a comeback 5k PB today. We've got Dawn there, she's going to take it a little bit easier, and we've got another friend and club mate, Andy, one of the best veteran 60 runners well in the country, and I think he's going to try and really smash it today. I did spot a couple of other people with video cameras. There's a chap here next to us on the start line with a GoPro on his chest. There was a lad further along with a GoPro actually attached to his head. So plenty of footage being taken today.
Right, without further ado, 2, 1,
And we're off on Selby parkrun number 285. Now, I talked about the surface in my introduction. You can see the bit I'm running on at the minute is a lovely smooth tarmac. That has been laid as part of the Trans-Pennine Trail, which runs all the way across from the east coast of Yorkshire through to the west coast at Lancashire. You'll also see adjacent to that, just to my left here, there's a little bit of a rough path. Now, last time we did Selby parkrun, I think it went in a slightly different direction on a surface like that. So I think, yeah, that's one reason why it is definitely a quicker course than when we did it. I'm not sure how long that this particular piece of tarmac has been down, but I do know that other people have reported that it has been extended further into the course. So really quite a high proportion of the course is on beautiful, unspoilt, smooth tarmac. So you will see that the tarmac part is quite a narrow path. There's probably space for 2 runners, 3 to push, 2 run comfortably adjacent to each other. So you can see the chap with the green jacket tied around his vest is having to come out to swerve onto the slightly rougher part to overtake people, and that's what I'm going to have to do in a minute to overtake the chap in the blue t-shirt just in front of me. Actually, I think when I do get onto that part, I'd give it a little surge so I'm not cutting in front of him, then having to cut out again to overtake the chap in the black t-shirt I'm just about to overtake here. So we're still in the first kilometre here, and you can see that the field is thinned out nicely. There's now no impediment to running entirely on the tarmac. So if I want to break my PB on this course of 19:59, and really that's what I'm hoping for, I need to be running each kilometre obviously in 4 minutes or just less. I haven't actually got my watch set on pace today. I've just bought a new Coros Pace Pro, and I inadvertently set it to heart rate, so although it's counting down each kilometre, I can't actually see how fast I'm running, and even when I do click over a kilometre split, I don't even know what I've run for that kilometre. So time wise, I'm running entirely blind during this parkrun, but I will put up the time I hit each kilometre on for you, the viewer, so you can see how close I am to that pace of 19:59 or better. So we're through kilometre 1 in 4:05, which obviously scaled up over 5k, would bring us home in about 20:25. Now, I think this course is predominantly flat, if not absolutely, virtually and totally flat, which is confirmed by the Strava readings later on. So, I mean, I thought I had a decent warm-up here. Maybe it took me a little bit of time to get into pace, but yeah, at the minute we're on for somewhere in the mid-20s. But we've got people in front of us to chase. We've got a lovely flat bit of tarmac, my favourite type of running. So let's get our head down and work through this second kilometre. So if you watched our parkrun videos before, you know that usually I like to point out things of interest along the course, maybe a statue, a memorial, but as you can see, that the Selby parkrun is pretty minimalist in its simplicity. As I said, you just run out for 1.55 miles and back for 1.55 miles. You look to your left, you look to your right, and there are fields and the remnants of an old RAF airbase. I think that the airbase is now used by a hang gliding club who kindly let parkrun use their particular land between 9 o'clock and about 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So just coming up to the end of the second kilometre here, and as you can see, we exit the nice smooth tarmac, and we've got a bit of a, I won't even call it rough, we've got a bit of a trail path, but it's really nice and firm underfoot. Just watch where you're going so you don't hit a divot, but you can still run at a really good pace. Talk of which, we go through kilometre 2, hitting 4:03 for that kilometre, and we are on 8:08 total, so still outside 20-minute pace. So here we go, my thinking on why Selby parkrun is way underpriced at 41st on the Tim Gross list of fastest UK parkruns. Right, so today there is 4 mile-an-hour wind. So obviously on an old airfield, if you get there and it's 20 miles an hour wind, don't try and expect very fast times. But today it's absolutely beautiful and perfect conditions for fast running. So I reckon when you hit Selby parkrun on the right day, you can get very fast times. But maybe some of the people who went into the algorithm that Tim uses had been there on a slightly windy day. You'll just see here the course split slightly, and that actually means that when I turn round, Dawn is coming up here and we miss each other, so there's no film of me running back down. How sad for you all. Anyway, yeah, back to why I think this is a fast course. I think they've relayed a bit of surface up here, and it, as I say, straight out and back, absolutely flat, no wind. For my money, this parkrun, if Tim maybe looked at the stats again, would be high up on the list of UK parkruns in terms of speed. So we're just coming up to the halfway point here, the turnaround point where there is a cone, and I actually count myself in 13th position. Now remember, I've got no way of knowing what time I'm on here, so all I can do is look at the positions, and I set myself a little target of finishing in the top 10 by the end. So we've turned this parkrun from being a time trial where I'm trying to hit a certain time, which I still want to hit, to actually having to use people to try and latch onto, overtake, and dare we say it, race. So as I said, we're actually running on an old runway here, and that runway was part of RAF Burn. So RAF Burn was opened in 1942 and was operational until 1946. The first airmen to actually be stationed here were 431 Squadron of the Royal Canadian Air Force. And over subsequent years of the war, various other squadrons were based here. So in doing the research for this video, I came across the tragic story of Cyril Barton, who actually took off from here in 1944, won a posthumous Victoria Cross. I won't detain you with the details here, but it was really moving looking at a letter he sent to his mother, a posthumous one. So if you do have the time or inclination, go and look at the story of Cyril Barton, who took off from this very airfield in March 1944. But back to 2024, whilst never forgetting the sacrifice of those who came before us, particularly seeing as Remembrance Day is 2 days after this parkrun, and we had a minute's silence at the beginning of the event, so nice touch there. Thank you, Selby parkrun core team. So yeah, just overtaken 2 runners, so I believe I'm now in 11th place overall, and just coming up to the 3k marker. So retrospectively, I found out I ran 4:01 for this. As you can see, my watch buzz there, but it's only telling me what heart rate I ran for that. So we're still 10 seconds outside pace for running 19:59. Can we make it up in the last couple of kilometres? You can still see I've got those 2 runners just in front of me, the guy with the green jacket tied around his waist and the lady in blue. So let's try and have a bit more of an effort and get on their shoulders if we can. So indeed, I can get onto their shoulders. So currently we're running 9th, 10th and 11th place in this park run. So you can see that actually the return couple of kilometres is beautiful. Most of the runners have come past us by this stage, and you've got an absolutely clear run down the old runway actually. So yeah, apart from a little bit of congestion at the start, what I would say about Selby parkrun, there's no congestion after that, and that's another reason why you can run particularly fast times. So we've got a combination of beautiful smooth tarmac, an absolutely pancake flat course, straight out and back, little or no congestion. As I say, on today, very, very low wind speed. So I think Selby parkrun, well, I'm going to say it, even though I've always had Hull to be the quickest parkrun in the north, I'm beginning to think Selby on the right day, in the right conditions like this, with people around you to chase and race and work with, I reckon Selby parkrun is potentially the quickest parkrun in Yorkshire. So what do you lot think? Anybody who's done Yorkshire parkruns, anybody who follows them? I'm beginning to gravitate towards this being the fastest in this fine county of ours. So let's come up to 4K now, which you can see I've managed to turn this parkrun around as a time trial. 3 minutes and 50 seconds, 15:59 cumulative. That is the fastest 1 kilometre split I have run in any 5K this year, be it a parkrun or an official 5K race. You can see I've just caught up the lady who is in first female position. She and I are now sort of joint 8th, and the story of the last kilometre of my parkrun is running down this old airstrip. You can see I keep turning my head because the 2 runners I just overtook aren't far behind at all. So basically there's a group of about 4 of us. The second lady's chasing the first lady. I've just got my head fixed on the finish line, and I know we're all helping each other around to fast times. So that's one of the great things about the spirit of parkrun. I used the word race early. We're not really racing each other, but we are using each other to spur each other on to fast times. Up there, I'll look around again to see whether people are on my shoulder. Look at my watch, how far have I got to go? Come on, John, let's focus on the finish line in front of you. So after several more head turnings and watch checkings, we finally approach the finish line of Selby parkrun event number 285. You will see I have still maintained 8th position by an absolute hairbreadth. I know that the lady I overtook at 4K is matching me almost stride for stride, and maybe half a stride in front of it. Yeah, another watch check there, and I'm just now looking down at this white line and hoping it will eventually merge away into the finish area. And here we come. In a little while, there's a cone on the left. You can just see we've passed it there. That says 100 metres to go. So as far as I can muster a sprint, that is what I'm mustering now. I don't know who's going to finish out of the group I've been running with first, but all I'm caring about now is my time, even though I don't know what it is. I'm hoping it's going to be somewhere under 20 minutes. To remember, I don't know what my last split was, or indeed any of the splits. So coming across the finish line, 3, 2, 1, and we finish Selby parkrun. So as you can hear, yeah, I've had the best morning ever on the old RAF Burn airfield. Congratulate the other people who finished just behind me. Yeah, position 8, and then I wait for my friends and clubmates to come in. And here's Robert, 20:38, his fastest 5K for 5 years. So well done him. Brilliant to see that the coaching is working and paying off. And how about Andy here in the Great Bristol Run t-shirt here, Vet 60, 17:42. Only went to not well over a minute off the existing Vet 60 record at Selby parkrun. Smashed it out the park and got a 90.07% age grading. And talk about 90% age gradings, I'm now going to go and find somebody who previously has run a 90% age grading this year, and that's Dawn, to see how she's getting on. And here she comes, 22:54. Nice steady tempo run for her, and guess what? She still beats me on age grade by around 6%. That's despite the fact I've done my best parkrun, best age grade for 5 years. Salted caramel, protein bar.
Nice.
So there we go. 19:43 for me, and my fastest parkrun time for 5 years, my fastest 5K time for 5 years. So it wasn't just Rob ran his fastest time for several years, I did so also. Must have been something in the air this morning. So we hope you've enjoyed joining us at Selby parkrun for what I believe is the fastest course in Yorkshire, arguably with Hull. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below if you have an opinion. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see our further parkrun adventures around the country, then please subscribe to the channel. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.